This is Jeff Durkin here with We Are Change Connecticut. We're here in studios with the one and only Tatiana Moroz.
He's a miner, and his daddy builds guitars while he fights the cancer caused by Agent Orange. When his son tried to enlist, Dad said, please don't do this. You should get a job and raise a family. When I heard his story, it made me want to cry, 'cause I thought of all the good boys who have gone off and died. And I told him I was sorry for what I felt, but he told me he's just playing the cards that he was dead. He's a veteran, and he fights for us to be free, but now he does it with a pen and not a rifle. He's got a baby and a good strong wife, but he lost most of us here defending oil. And he could hear my song and it made him want to cry, 'cause he thought of all his good friends who had gone off and died. Though we barely knew each other, I still knew how he felt. But he told me he's just playing the cards, and he was dead. There's a dream they like to sell us about the glory of a war, but I'm not buying this time. It's not worth fighting for. 'Cause if you don't end up inside the ground or in pieces on the floor, there's so many nightmares left behind. It's enough to make you lose your mind. So listen to the music, it's okay to cry when you think of all the good boys who have gone off and died. And I hope you know I'm sorry for what I felt, but I guess that we're all playing the cards that we were dead. I guess that we're all playing the cards that we were dead. I'm your masters of war, you that build all the guns, you that build the dead planes, let you die. And your death will come soon. I will follow your casket on a pale afternoon, and I'll watch while you're lowered down into your deathbed, and I'll stand over your grave till I'm sure that you're dead.
Tatiana, thanks for the interview today.
Thank you. Thank you for coming by.
So just more of a personal question based on the songs. The first song, Playing the Cards, what did that mean to you in reference, and where did you get the idea from it, the motivation behind that?
Well, I think Playing the Cards was one of my favorite songs on Love and Liberty, because it was inspired sort of in the moment. It was one of the last songs, in fact, the last song that I recorded for the record. And it was based on some friends that I had made in the movement. I had met some people from Combat Veterans for Ron Paul. I'd met all sorts of different vets from all around the country. And one day I was talking with somebody on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, well, did you serve?" And he said, "Oh, no. My dad wouldn't let me serve. You know, he's actually very sick right now from Agent Orange. They think that's where his cancer is from, and he sits around building guitars and sort of fighting back, I guess, you know, in whatever way he can." And I, of course, didn't really have very much to say about that, because what can you say except for, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And he says, "Oh, well, that's okay. He's just playing the cards he was dealt." And I thought that that was a really resilient message, and it also sort of struck home just how many generations are affected by war. You know, look at this guy, he went 40, 50 years ago, and now he's still dealing with problems with it. His family is going to deal with problems from it for generations, or at least a couple generations. So that's pretty heavy.
Yeah. So just a little background, maybe even further, like, well, when did you first really get involved in music in general? How did you start out, and where did you turn more of a turning point to where you're doing more liberty-themed music for different events all around the country?
Well, I always knew I wanted to sing. Ever since I was a little girl, it was my number one thing. I couldn't wait to get into the choirs and choruses and stuff like that. So that's what I did ever since I was little, and I always had an interest in making the world a better place. And when there was just a lot of bad music growing up, after a certain point, the music started taking a downward turn, and I got very disappointed. But then when I saw what was happening with the Ron Paul movement, I thought it was a really inspiring time to be writing about what was going on, because it was very unprecedented. And this was our version of, the 60s cultural revolutions.
So the second song, tell us about that second song, how that influenced you, Masters of War, the classic Bob Dylan song. How did that influence you to, play it your own way, your own tune, so to speak?
Well, I think that bringing it back to Bob Dylan and what I was saying before about playing the cards is sort of related, right? Because his song is just as relevant now as it was back then, which is a really sad state of affairs if you think about it. So I was asked by some friends to do a cover of it. I came into the studio here at Premiere, and we did it really quickly. And I think it was a really inspired recording, because it's an inspiring topic, and in a negative way, obviously, but it really brings a lot of emotion out of a person to really think about what's going on and the powers that be that control our lives, like we're little pawns in their game. So
just to wrap it up quick here, where you see the future going? Are you more hopeful or pessimistic or optimistic based on what you see? Just your own perspective on what you see going on right now, and where you see it going, more the liberty movement in general, or any other topics you want to bring up?
Well, I think 2012 was a really crazy year. There was a lot of pressure on that year. Not only was there the election, there was the whole 2012 thing. But what I've tried to focus on since the elections have died out is my company, Same Side Entertainment, and doing different liberty events and keeping that message alive on a more local level and spreading it out. Because, Ron Paul isn't the only messenger for liberty. If there's one thing that we were taught through that whole experience, it was that we have responsibility to get the word out there ourselves, and we have that power. So I'm just trying to promote education and reaching out to different other groups and seeing what we have in common with people. And then hopefully bringing them over slowly but surely to some of the ideas that make me and my friends libertarians, or in that vein, I guess.
It's really amazing, your great work, so I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. I think that there's a lot of great music being made because there's a lot of activity that will inspire people. So hopefully people will keep converting some of this negativity into positivity and create.
Well, it's inspiring, really. It's very inspiring. Because we're four regular guys who have strong opinions, and we're very passionate about what's going on. And we feel like we have to do something about it, like it's our duty. And